Um, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Heidi McIndoe, and I'm a registered dietitian. So I am all about helping people eat delicious food that is good for them. So today I want to talk about salads. We're used to, you have a little salad before dinner, or maybe you have some chicken salad or tuna salad sandwich, or egg salad. But today I wanted to do something a little different to show that salad can be more than just something you put between bread or something that you eat to help fill you up before your main meal. It can actually be your main meal. So we are going to make 2 salads today. Just so that you know, I do have the chat open. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. I can see them. I cannot, however, see the Q&A. So I will not see anything that you put in the Q&A. So you got to do the chat. And also to get the recipes, I think you either contact the person who you set this up for, or Andrea will be putting her email in the chat. If you don't see Andrea's email in the chat, then just contact who you signed up through and they will have the recipes for today. So the first recipe we're making is a quinoa and bean salad. There's Andrew's email, so that's how you get the recipes. And I will also tell you everything I'm doing. So we are going to start with the bean part of our quinoa and bean salad. So by putting the beans and the quinoa in this salad, we give it some protein and some fiber, so it helps give it staying power. So it keeps us feeling satisfied and fuller longer than a salad that is just made pretty much of vegetables. But super easy. You can, if you would like, you can get a bag of dried beans and cook those. But today I just used a can of low sodium beans and opened them, rinsed them, drained them really well. And honestly, when you rinse and drain the low sodium beans, you're not really getting a terrible amount of sodium, especially when you consider, this is making 4 servings out of this salad. So we're only getting 1/4 of a can of beans. So once you rinse and drain and they're low sodium, you're probably getting less than 100 milligrams of sodium. So I got the black beans in my bowl. You can use white beans, red beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, whatever kind of beans you like, cannellini beans, Great Northern, I could go on and on. So the first thing we're going to do, we want these beans to get a little bit of flavor. So I'm going to add just a tablespoon of red wine vinegar to these guys. Whoops, that's a little too much. All right. Oh, and you know what? Silly me, I forgot. I'll use that one. Forgot a spoon. Who makes a salad with no spoon? All right, so we'll just shake it, shake it. So we're just letting our beans soak in that vinegar. And now we're going to start prepping the rest of the ingredients that are going to go in there. One of the ingredients will be quinoa. So I actually love these microwavable 90-second pouches, but you can get the dry quinoa and cook that. It does not take long to cook quinoa on the stove. But for me, I have found this pouch is a perfect amount for this salad. The recipe actually calls for a cup of cooked quinoa. This is a little bit more than a cup, but it works really well. So we're going to hold on to that for a minute while our beans are soaking up that vinegar and we're getting everything else ready. So what we need in our salad is, I got some red pepper here. I actually have a little bit of a green and a red pepper left over from last night's dinner. So instead of wasting that, I'm going to cut that up. But basically, we want roughly 1 small pepper, diced to whatever size and shape you like it. I like these things fairly small diced because I don't want to bite into, a big hunk of something in my salad. I would rather have a little bit of everything in my salad. All right, so line them up. Whoops. And just, oh, we lost a pepper. Just went on the shelf below. Saved him. Like I said, I don't want to be eating a salad and have 1 fork have a big, humongous pepper, and one fork have a, a big giant piece of spinach, and one forkful have something else. I want them all I want every forkful to have as many ingredients as possible. So the reason there's no real reason to soak the beans in vinegar. It's just to let them absorb a little bit of that flavor from the red wine vinegar. You don't have to do that. I just find, why not? I've got to prep all this stuff, and beans are in there. I might as well let them soak up some vinegar. Again, the red wine vinegar specifically, I like the flavor that it gives. All right. And honestly, as I chop things, I'm just adding them to that bowl. So it's not like it's anything, an extended period of time. So you could totally skip that step. All right, our green peppers are in there. So now do the same with our red peppers. I love, like I said, this recipe calls for about a small red pepper, but I love when I have, if I have leftovers, I always go to figuring out, is there a way I can use those before I cut into something new? Just so that I'm not wasting anything. All right, next ingredient. It's going to be a half of a cucumber. So we'll go with this guy. So we do want to peel our cucumber. You could leave it, the peel on, totally up to you. I know there's a lot of vitamins in the peel. I'm just not crazy myself about biting into the cucumber peeling. So I like to peel it. And then I also find for a lot of people, the seeds sometimes make people burp, give them gas. So I sort of go down the sides of my seeds and just cut most of them out. This helps with chopping as well, because now I have these 3 strips that I can just cut like that into equal sizes. Gonna line them up and then chop them. So they're gonna be roughly the same size as our peppers. Line them all up. Get rid of what we don't need, right? Okay. And just nice little diced up pieces. And now we're like pretty well through making this salad, believe it or not, super easy. The recipe calls for 1 cup of cooked quinoa. So don't measure it first and then cook it. You want to cook it and then measure it, which I want to say it's a half a cup of cooked quinoa that makes a cup, but I'm not 100% sure. I always confuse my pasta, my rice, and my quinoa because they're all a little bit different. Speaking of quinoa, which is, again, why it's just so much easier. I know this pouch is more than a cup, but it's a perfect amount for this salad. It makes it that much easier. So now we're going to dump our cooked quinoa in here. I love getting, they have the red and white quinoa. Not really any nutritional or taste difference. I just think it looks really pretty. So that's why I use it. All right, put that over here. All right, so in here we have got our beans that were soaked in our red wine vinegar. We have got our quinoa. We have got our red pepper. We've got a half a cucumber. The other 2 ingredients that are not part of the dressing are an avocado and some greens, whatever kind you like. I like the baby spinach. I'm actually not going to be adding those right now, just because I like to wait. Those are things that tend to get soggy, get brown, and I like to wait till serving to do that. But this is the start of our salad, and now all I need to do is make our vinaigrette, and we're pretty much done. So for our vinaigrette, I love to make vinaigrettes in a measuring cup just because I can measure as I'm going, whisk it all in, dump it in at the pour spout. I don't spill, I don't use another container, and it's super easy. So for this, we need, where are they? We need about 4 tablespoons of lime juice, which is going to be roughly 3, 4 limes, depends on how big and juicy your limes are, I suppose. 1, 2, mine are very thick-skinned ones, apparently. Go, 3. So I squeeze those puppies in here. Oh, these are juicy ones. So 4 tablespoons is also about 1/4 cup. Oh. And apparently I only needed to open 2 of my limes. So we are going to be having some limeade later today. Okay. So we've got 4 tablespoons of very juicy limes. We need, for the dressing, we're going to use a little bit of rice wine vinegar, or rice vinegar, sorry. We need about 1 tablespoon of this. So now we have our acids in there. Now we need some olive oil. We're basically making a vinaigrette. So we need a little oil and vinegar. We actually need 1/3 cup, oops, wrong side, of olive oil. So my limes and my vinegar right now are at the 1/3 cup measure. So I know that I just need to add this until I get to the 2/3 lime. You could also start with the vinegar too and make, or start with the olive oil. So that is that. We need about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. If you're salt sensitive, you could lower this. You could leave it out too. There's plenty of flavor going on in here, but it does enhance the flavor a little bit. We also need about, whoops, that's too much. Leave some of this. 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. And we are going to add 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder and a full teaspoon of cumin. So if you have not yet used cumin, it's not at all spicy. It's just a little bit smoky. So you don't have to worry about it being too hot for you. It's just, for me, it's frequently, you might recognize it as like what you smell when you use taco seasoning. It's common in taco seasoning. All right, that's that. Get our little whisk this guy together. And simple as that, we have a salad. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dress all of our beans and vegetables with this dressing. And then when I go to serve this, that's when I'm going to basically open up my bed of greens, because like I said, I don't want them soggy. I'm going to open my beans, put them on the plate or the bowl, whatever it is, serve out my salad, and then top it with either some guac if I have some, or the fresh slices of avocado. But like I said, I hate wasting food. So I'm not going to slice the avocado open right now until I know we are ready to eat it. It's a huge pet peeve of mine. It's just wasting food. But I think you can get the idea of what I'm doing. All right, so that is done. Just pour it on here. Now, what I normally do, and I actually forgot to do it. Usually I get the lid, I put the lid right on this, and I just flip it up and down, and it really dresses everything well. Like I said, I forgot my spoon, so we're just going to, this is our beautiful salad. So just imagine that on top of a bed of greens, your favorite green, a couple slices of fresh, nice bright green avocado on top. So that's a super easy meal salad. We've got fiber, we've got protein, we've got an assortment of vitamins and minerals. We have some healthy fat in there when we have lots of flavor in there. So it is a great option for like I said, a meal salad. And it could also be a side salad. You could have a small portion of that. If you're having, say, you're grilling some chicken or some steak or some fish, this would be a delicious side salad as well. All right, next salad is going to be a grilled chicken salad with blueberry vinaigrette. Love this vinaigrette. So the way this recipe actually starts is you need to have some grilled chicken. So if you have leftover chicken, and it doesn't actually even have to be grilled. Say you have leftover rotisserie chicken, say it's Thanksgiving, you have leftover turkey, say you grilled chicken last night and you have leftover, you could use any of that. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're going to try that salad. You can also just get a couple chicken breasts, cover it with a little bit of basically a tablespoon of olive oil, garlic clove, a little pinch of salt and pepper, and grill it fresh and then let it cool. What I actually love though is these ready to use pouches of chicken. And you can get different brands. This just happened to be the brand that my store had today, but I know there are also some more natural brands that don't have as much stuff in them. But like I said, my store only had this today. So I love using these because it just saves you that step. But like I said, feel free to use rotisserie chicken, grill up some fresh chicken, whatever works for you. You could use turkey, like I said. So what I need to do first with this salad, unlike the last one where the vinaigrette went last, I'm going to start with our vinaigrette this time. And this is a delicious blueberry vinaigrette. So, and it's wonderful on a garden salad as well. Well, that's funny. My light just got way bright. All right. So we need, for this vinaigrette, we're going to start with a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Roughly 1/4 cup. And a 1/4 cup of blueberry jam, blueberry preserve, whatever you have. If you want blueberry picking, you could mash up some blueberries and cook them on the stove with just a wee bit of sugar, mashed up till it all thickens and makes a syrup. That would be delicious too, considering it is blueberry time right now. At least where I am, it is. All right. That's good. We need 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar in this one. A little sweeter. Whoa. Sweeter vinegar. Ooh. 2 tablespoons of fresh maple syrup. Thinking now blueberries, maple syrup, this would be delicious if you're up in like Vermont or Maine, where all that stuff is so yummy. All right, 2 tablespoons of the maple syrup. Now a couple seasonings and we are good to go. So with this recipe, our seasoning is going to be just a dash of pepper, it's hardly any, pinch of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground mustard. Make sure right one, yes it is. So I don't know if you know, but mustard, dry mustard specifically, is an emulsifier. So that means it actually helps you know what happens when you mix, you know, oil and water, oil and vinegar. They do not like each other. They don't like to stay together. They separate. But ground mustard is an emulsifier and it helps it hold together. That is why that most mayonnaise brands have a little bit of dry mustard in them because it holds mayonnaise is basically oil, vinegar, and eggs with a little pinch of mustard, dry mustard. All right. So that is our delicious blueberry dressing. All right, now it's the easy part. We are making our salad. So let's just give us some room for the plate. Sorry, my counter is very small. So far, things will move. Okay. Oops. So we take again, oops, wrong bag. Whatever green that we want to use. Okay, again, I've got that baby spinach. I'll just put a wee bit of that on here. And I'm picky, so I got to get all my big stems off because I hate that. And honestly, what I do as well, it's an extra step. You don't have to do it. If I had more counter space, I would do this on a cutting board and just give a rough chop to this again, because I don't want one bite that is just a whole hunk of leaf. I could totally go over the salad dressing recipe again. 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1/4 cup of blueberry preserves or homemade, like a blueberry sauce, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1/4 teaspoon dry mustard, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and a dash of pepper. All right, so we've got our greens. Now we go in here and we get whatever chicken we are using. It's going to be a little one in there. Yes, there is. Put him over to the side. And now, what am I going to do? I'm going to break up my chicken. Again, I would probably do this on the cutting board. It does look weird breaking up pieces of chicken with my hands, but do what we got to do. All right. Now, we cannot have a grilled, I didn't even say the name of this recipe, grilled chicken salad with blueberry vinaigrette. We cannot have a grilled chicken salad with blueberry vinaigrette without some fresh blueberries. So that one's a little mushy. So we are just going to sprinkle some blueberries on here. And we need some color, right? So you could do mandarin oranges. They are delicious. Today I have decided to do strawberries. So I'm just going to basically sort of, I guess, depending on the size of the strawberry, cut them in 8s. Sprinkle that on. Got some of the leaf there. All right. Yes, to make it bite-sized. You don't have to break up the chicken. You can leave it big chunks if you want. But I want to take my fork and get a little bite of everything. All right. So again, no real rough. I mean, this was what I just did, 3 strawberries. They were good sized, 4 strawberries. Depends on if you get those super gigantic strawberries, use less. Get teeny tiny ones from the garden, use more. And now we are just going to take a wee bit of goat cheese. You could use, I'm sorry, this is feta. You can use goat cheese if you want, just a little bit. Oh, that was more than I wanted. Just as it adds just a little fun flavor, a little saltiness. And now we've got our dressing and it stayed emulsified just like we wanted. And I'm just going to make a nice drizzle over here. If you do decide to make your own fresh blueberry sauce to use for this, you just want to make sure that as you're doing it, you mash up those blueberries so they're not, just a big hunk of blueberry. You want them to mash up, and that mashing is going to be what helps the sauce thicken up when it mixes with the sugar and the water. It's going to help the syrup thicken up a little bit, just so it's not like a watery blueberry, blueberries with some liquid watery. All right, that is our delicious salad. Yes, thank you for agreeing with me. Yeah, who wants everybody to have to cut everything? Just dig in. So we've got this. We've got this. Remember, this one we have to plate with our spinach or whatever, or it could be romaine, it could be kale, it could be whatever you want it to be. And top it with some avocado or some guac. And that is it. So we have got two meal salads. This one is perfect this time of year, especially in just under a half an hour. So do you guys have any other questions or comments? You guys have been really good about being, commenting and sharing stuff with me. Any other questions about this? Hope it looks good. Hope at least one of them looks good to you. Because I'm digging into this one when we're all done today. Well, thank you very much. Great. You are very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Do I think nuts would work? Nuts would be awesome on this one. I could see some pecans on here, almonds, walnuts. Yeah, I think nuts would be a great addition. Yep. Would add a nice crunch. I might actually do that. Sesame seeds, hemp seeds. Yeah, lots of options. See, that's the fun. When you're doing it yourself, you can add whatever you want, leave out whatever you want. And it's just, it's personalized to you. We have one of these calendars that gives tips every day. And one of the tips the other day, my son was reading, it said, if you want the best recipe, if you go out to eat and you want the best meal in the restaurant, choose the chef's specialty or the chef's favorite. I'm like, well, what if I don't like the same food that the chef likes? Maybe the chef loves mushrooms and liver and I don't like either of those. So I did not think that was a good idea. I say, make it the way you want it. And that's, like I said, the bonus of cooking at home. Yeah, so this is a fun this would be fun if obviously it's fun to eat on your own. It's fun for your family. But say you had a friend over just to chat while we're still able to maybe do that. This would be a fun little lunch salad to make super, super easy. Again, especially if you use the pre-made chicken or if you have leftover chicken, it would be delicious. You are very welcome. All right, that is it. If there are no other questions, I will, actually, I'll hang out for a minute. Oh, that was a yuck. Hang out for a minute while more salads. I'll have to think some more. All my stems from my spinach. Yeah, so I'll keep an eye on the chat here for a second while I am cleaning up. Just to see, I had another half a lime I didn't squeeze, but I found it. Make sure my lids are on. Are you able to provide a link to the recipes? Yes, so Andrea will put her email in the chat and you can simply email her and she will send you the recipes. Yeah, if you tuned in late, I don't think you can scroll up to where she put it in the chat earlier. There it is. So just send an email to her, say you want the salad recipes, and she can send you both of these. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in and have a great rest of your day. Hmm.